Best-selling author Michael Lewis has written a series of books taking Wall Street to task. In his latest, Flash Boys, he claims the financial markets are rigged, and he says it all comes down to timing. Look at it like this. Imagine there's a girl that you want to ask out, so you send her a text message. But another guy sees what you're doing, and he decides to ask her out too. Only he has the most advanced phone around, and his text gets there before yours does. And he gets the girl. So imagine instead of losing out on a date, you're losing out on billions of dollars in computerized trading. Of course, the whole thing is a lot more complicated than that. Michael Lewis, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Matt.
The girl analogy is not completely accurate, but I'm trying to make the point. You're being beaten to the punch, according to you, when it comes to computerized trading in the stock markets.
Absolutely. There are two markets. The market moves at two speeds. One speed for people who pay for access to the exchanges, who put their trading machines right next to the black boxes that are actually now the exchanges, and everybody else. And we're everybody else. Everybody else being kind of investors in the stock market.
There's a version of this called front running. The version you're talking about in this book, that you're exposing in this book, is legal, and in your opinion, infuriatingly legal.
Yeah, I think we're going to find out whether it's legal or not, because the Attorney General and the FBI have suddenly opened investigations into the practices. But yes, it seems like the SEC is fully aware of what's going on, and it doesn't seem to bother them that much.
Basically, you got these high-volume traders out there, Michael, and they are investing in the fastest possible technology. In some ways, they see your trade before it reaches its destination, and they go in and trade before you get there.
Not in some way. That is exactly what happens. That they actually, the average investor, and by that I mean everybody from the guy sitting at his E-Trade account to the biggest pension funds and hedge funds in the world, are seeing essentially old prices compared to the high-speed traders. High-speed traders are seeing the market in more like real time, and are trading against people who don't know the market.
Here's the way you write about it in the book. The U.S. stock market was now a class system rooted in speed, of haves and have-nots. The haves paid for nanoseconds. The have-nots had no idea that nanoseconds had value.
Yeah, and the problem is that the haves are generating so much money sitting in the middle of the market this way that they've created a whole ecosystem on Wall Street around themselves. So they pay the exchanges, they pay the banks to be involved in it. So as soon as this profitable business arose, it created a kind of its own logic.
Why shouldn't I applaud these guys? Why shouldn't I applaud them for using technology to their best advantage? Isn't that what the system's all about? Don't we want speed in trading?
We do want speed in trading, but I think what we want is every dollar to stand the same chance on an exchange. It's an unfair playing field. It's crazy for investors to be trading against people who have essentially knowledge of the prices before they do.
You are shaking a stick and knocking it into a hornet's nest, and that hornet's nest is fighting back. Those hornets are stinging. Here are some of the things people are saying about you in your book: that you are misinformed, that you're unfair and irresponsible, that you have simplified your story. The advocacy organization for high-frequency traders, Modern Markets Initiative, said flatly, the markets are not rigged. Saying otherwise is a broad generalization that lumps the vast amount of good market behavior in with a few bad actors. They say the system you're talking about actually provides liquidity in the markets.
What else are they going to say? I mean, I don't know where to begin there. But the story isn't my story. The story I tell in the book is a story of people who are actually Wall Street insiders who realize, kind of starting around 2008, the market's behaving funny. That the market's on their screens is no longer the market they can act on. That every time they go to trade, the market seems to know what they're going to do before they do it. And the story is their investigation of this market. And it involves people from exchanges, people who work at high-frequency trading firms, people who came out of the big banks, who are actually appalled by what's happening in the system.
These guys, these insiders you're talking about, are whistleblowers to an extent, and now they're starting to hear from other whistleblowers throughout the industry.
Yes. In fact, in the last day or two, they've had calls from whistleblowers from inside the exchanges who want to know how to get onto the FBI to describe what's going on in the exchanges. So this isn't Michael Lewis wandering in and making grand pronouncements. I mean, I'm following the story of people, actually Wall Street insiders, trying to figure out how this stock market works because they themselves don't understand.
One-word answer. This is going to prompt people to want to take their money out of the market. Should they?
No, I don't think that's the right answer. Because you're talking about scalping its pennies each trade. It shouldn't go on. It's unnecessary Wall Street intermediation. But the stock, it's crazy to miss out on on investing in the stock market just to avoid being scalped.
Typical writer. That wasn't a one-word answer.
Sorry.
But that's all right. Michael Lewis, good to see you again. The book is Flash Boys. Guys, over to you.
It was 362 words, Michael. Just get April Fool.
Who's counting?